props are mainly there for the scene, the story, and the mood. So hopefully anywhere that we place them in the game should give you a good idea of where you are, what sort of characters you're going to see. So example of that is from a movie. You can see what's happening in the scene, but if we take away all of the props, it's just two dudes floating in space, talking to each other. So hopefully they should be there, kind of seen for the area, but not really noticed too much. So Mark Gibbons is a great concept artist and has been doing a lot of concepts for us. And really, to get started, all we need is one great concept. And that concept can give us ideas for just about everything else. So for the Worgen, this was a great concept for the lighting we needed, the surfaces, the look of the stone and so on. And then we can expand from that. We have some other concepts. Most of the props that we make, we like to give them some sort of movement or design because we really are placing them most of the time in a static area. So hopefully they should lead you towards where you're going, point you to areas of interest. For the Worgen, we made about 350 props. So then we do a paint over when we have most of the stuff in, just to add that final level of detail. So we take the scene and we'll add the things like the piece of paper on the ground and the drapes blowing and the water drips and so on. That gives us that little extra level of polish that we need. So here's a couple of scenes of some of the new areas, with and without the props. Things such as the road lamps and so on should always pull you through as a player. So the other race we've been working on is the Goblin, and these guys have crashed. Now here, this concept was another great one where we really just had this excellent ideas for the light sources they needed. The Goblin need to be super creative and inventive, so they'll use anything around them pretty much. So here they're using all the, except for that, they brought that with them. And then they'll pretty much create anything out of anything they can find. They need their Christmas lights wherever they go. And of course, being goblins and being stranded, they still want to enjoy themselves, so they're going to have a drink, they're going to have some coconut juice. They need directions because they can't find their way around, but the locals don't like them much, so they're attacking everything. And of course, they want to escape from this island, and they're not just going to swim, they're going to do it Goblin style, with a rocket catapult turtle-powered machine. And of course they need to eat, so they're going to get some of the local wildlife involved. So I'm just going to show a couple more of the items that'll give the Goblin some of their flavour and excitement. You won't see these until we actually ship the next game. This is their favourite beverage, weasel juice. I also wanted to show some of the other props we've been working on just for some of the new things you'll see in the next expansion. These are for Twilight's Hammer. These guys are going to be everywhere, and we really wanted their stuff to look fairly menacing, but also portable where it could be. So we put spikes in the ground of everything. You can jam it into walls. You can pretty much take it anywhere. So they're going to overtake many areas. So we need their stuff to look like it can be moved. As Wendy showed before, this is another dungeon that we're working on. Just a few small examples of how we work with the dungeon team, adding small little details such as the little coral in the background, the small little moving pieces. So these are just sort of details and decorations that you'll see through the dungeon. This is the elevator you'll use to get into the dungeon. And we also make